Here's a quote. "We who live there and love the land are shocked by the desecration of the natural resources. The great forest of oak protected for many years under the management of the Department of the Interior are being devastated by the TVA, Miss Corrine Whitehead back in December 3rd, around 1967. The article continues and it says this: TVA has advertised timber for sale in LBL, but officials said this is for the interest of forest management. Now, how many times have we heard that? I know I've been told that many times. It's for the health of the forest. I continue to hear that, but after 45 years of logging for the health of the forest, you would think the forest would be so healthy that we wouldn't have to continue to log for the health of the forest. Give me some other excuse. There's got to be another one out there. But as you can see, this is sort of an old battle. It's one that's been fought for a long time, but it's different this time. There's something else going on. Now, I'm not a forestry, I don't have a degree in forestry. I don't know that much about forest health. Graduated from Lyon County, went to UK, got a degree in political science, minor in history. I don't know all that kind of stuff. But I do have a master's degree in common sense I got from my granny and pops. And whatever plan has been going on for the past 45 years, it ain't working. And I'm tired of my LBL that we love being destroyed the way it is. And we stand at a crossroads, folks. What will we allow LBL to become? Pre-European, which means continued taking out the trees, years and years of burning large tracts of land. Is that really what people want? I don't think it is. Although the Forest Service has about 8,600 acres already for this experiment that they're talking about, they've only been able to accomplish grasslands, native grasslands, on about 800 acres. Yet they're continuing to want to expand this. Folks, I really believe it is a desire of those folks that make policy at the Forest Service to change a huge majority of LBL into this pre-European landscape, which is barrens, oak grasslands, savannas, prairies, and I'm going to show you some of the proof that I got here. It's been like putting together a piece of a puzzle. Go to the first slide there. The Forest Management Plan in 2004 said the focus of these areas, and it's talking about the demonstration areas that we've been talking about, that 8,600 acres, is to restore upland vegetation to conditions approximating those found at the time of the European settlement. All right, go to the next one. Open conditions, this is in the same document, were created and maintained in large part through the use of fire by American Indians. Emphasis is to approximate these conditions across the landscape within these demonstration areas. Right there they say, okay, we're going to do it, but we're going to stay within these demonstration areas through the use of tree thinning and prescribed fire. Move on. These are the demonstration areas. See the ones in yellow? Those are the demonstration areas that were laid out by the 2004 plan. Do you see the real light green or dark green areas? Those are the core areas. There's about 42,000 acres of those that are protected, thanks to Congressman Whitfield. Do you see over here, and this is laid on its side. It didn't look right the other way. But the south is over here closest to me. Or the north, I'm sorry. The north is over here closest to me, and you'll see a red area. Those are the areas called the Paradise Sale, the areas around Ediville Ferry. That's already, a lot of them been logged and burned. And then you will see another, I call it the Barney color, it's purple. That's the Pisgah Bay project. So that gives you an idea of what we're talking about here, of how much land that we're talking about that they already have in their yellow grass oak land demonstration areas. Move on, please. Forest Management Plan. Although these conditions may be found in relatively small patches elsewhere on LBL, these demonstration areas seek to create such conditions as over a large contiguous landscape. Keep moving. Of course, pictures of about 6 years into what's supposed to be the grassland demonstration area. There's another picture there. It's not something you want to walk through in the summer with snakes out there. All right, move on. This is from something I just found a few days ago. Now, I will tell you, the Forest Service has said they did not implement this document. But everything it says, they're doing it on the ground. Here's what this says. The vision and desired conditions section of LBL area plan are guided by extensive and continuous public involvement, wanted a landscape scale focus of a restoration of pre-European ecosystems. Who's been telling them this? Was it y'all? No. I couldn't believe that when I saw that extensive and continuous public involvement, screaming, I want pre-European. Move on. LBL has 42,000 acres of core areas. Most of the remaining 130,000 acres will be treated over time to provide the other components of the mosaic, which is the pre-European area. Again, they say they did not implement this, but it really makes sense now that I'm putting these pieces together. Move on, please. Strategically, and pay close attention to this while looking at the map up there of the Pisgah Bay project and the other two areas and all the logging that's taking place in the south. Strategically, we have scattered, so that's a past tense, land treatments in the north and south of LBL. We will use additional land treatments in these areas to block up our existing treatments. Once this is done, we will work to connect the large blocks and put it all together. Move on. The fabulous scenery plan that they come out with this last year, the forest plan establishes the desired landscape condition as pre-European savanna-like certain areas. See, you keep seeing this in all their documents over and over. Pre-European landscape described as oak grasslands, open savannas, prairies, and barrens. Same plan. The pre-European savanna-like grasslands condition is more desirable visually than overgrown, naturally appearing woodlands. Move on. I don't think they're buying it. They said earlier that everybody is clamoring for pre-European style landscapes. Right here, it should be noted, and this is in their documents, the scenery management document. It should be noted that the results from the public scenic viewing and special places inventory documented that in the woods and on the shore were the top most scenic general areas. Right there it is, their own survey. Keep moving, please. Thank you. Now, I'm going to put this together for you about what you've just seen. Up at Edaville Ferry, where this arrow is pointing to, Edaville Ferry Road, Trace, where you see the devastation now, they've put this sign up. It's the same sign that they put in their oak demonstration areas. They're saying the same thing. Here it is. We're going to thin this canopy. We're going to burn the fire out of it over and over until it looks the way we want to in oak grassland. Move on. This was in the Katie's Record. Anybody here from Katie's Record? Thank you for this. I found this on the internet. This is the Pisgah Bay project. The Forest Service called up some students from SIU, Southern Illinois. They come up and they took a tour in April. And here's what they said in the tour. The seminar, which lasted all morning, tied into LBL's Pisgah Bay project, a project to work with 5,160 acres inside LBL to return it to pre-European settlement conditions. Has any of you heard that? I haven't. That's not in their handout, but right there it is. Move on to the next screen. On down in the story, plans for the area involve the removal of non-native species and timber thinning treatments. Wilson said these actions will open up the canopy and allow sunlight to reach the forest floor. Wilson, right there above it, is the LBL forester that works for the Forest Service. There it is. That pieces it all together as to what I believe and all the documents show that it's a slow move toward LBL becoming a pre-European type area. A whole lot different than what we're used to. Folks, we're in an odd place right now with the future of land between the lakes. When I started investigating this, I thought it was going to be about just too much logging, but it's turned out to be something else. For example, we are in a place at LBL where core areas are no longer core areas, where a forest with a large canopy is considered non-native and must be thinned. A place where going back on promises is more common than going back to promises. We're at a place where burning large tracts of land for the health of the forest is more important than the health of those of us who breathe the smoke. A place where law enforcement employees are cut, then recreation areas closed due to lack of law enforcement. A place where the best stand of native grasses are in the playgrounds of our closed campgrounds. Where forest management means disturbing the forest enough to create more forest management. A place where the largest order of signage is road closed signs. We're in a place where upkeep of walking, horse and bike trails is too expensive, but there's no budget restraints on returning it to a pre-European restoration. A place where the non-native loblobby pine must be cut down to make room for the non-native short-leaf pine. Where 45 years of logging in the name of forest health apparently hasn't produced forest health. A place where some roads to cemeteries are impassable while gravel for timber trucks is readily available. A place where the pre-European savanna-like grasslands condition is more desirable visually than overgrown woodlands. That was a quote from the Forest Service there. Where cultural remnants of Between the Rivers residents are ignored while pre-European landscapes are celebrated. A place where visitor surveys that say, "I want to be in the woods," really mean build more grasslands. A place where forest management will no longer include a forest. A place where the forest plan calls for over 21,000 acres of burning every year. Where's Smokey the Bear when you need him? Here's basically what's going on, folks. We're in a battle over what LBL is going to become. They are moving forward with these new areas without any proof that the oak grassland demonstrations are going to work. I say no. I say no. No more. Not another log, not another acre burned until this debate is over. We need to have this debate. We deserve a full accounting from the Forest Service on the idea of this pre-European landscape, of where it came from, where they're going with it, and why it's suddenly just we're having to discover it through searching around. So I have a proposal for the Forest Service that is moderate and it's attainable by the Forest Service. One, retreat back into the demonstration areas the Forest Service currently has to show the grassland they desire is manageable, doable, and desirable. Prove that it works. Number two, commit to stop further payment unit timber sales and logging until this debate is over. Number three, do not move forward with the Pisgah Bay project or other projects similar to it until this debate is over. Commit to protecting and preserving large areas of old growth forest all across LBL. Y'all like these? Promote the core areas for visitation and exploration and environmental education. Commit to recreational facility upkeep, trail, and road improvements. And preserve and honor the cultural remnants that exist all over LBL. And we've talked about this already, but what if this demonstration of a pre-European landscape expands like they're wanting to, in doubling the acres of what they've already got? What if it doesn't work? What if the burning of these thousands of acres every 2 years for the next 15, 20 years, what if that doesn't work? What if their experts that predicted this would look good are wrong? What if the Forest Service is wrong? If they are, it's a 100-year mistake. and they can't get it back. Now, just real quick, I want to speak to our former residents and their families. You guys have worked so hard to protect LBL for over 45 years. And we mentioned Aubrey Wagner a while ago, and he was the longest serving chairman of TVA, and he was testifying before Congress in 1965, and he said this: "The water makes the natural boundary, and we believe when people cross the bridges into the area, they ought to be immediately conscious of the fact that this is a new kind of area." That's what I want. I want to drive across that bridge and see a new kind of area. The old promises of LBL being a new kind of area is a place promoting environmental education, scenic areas and old growth forests, and great hunting and fishing, trails and outdoor recreation, all stimulating the surrounding economies while honoring the heritage and the culture of those who came from there. That's the old promise. In the takeover, TVA spread that promise across this land to the former residents like scattering seeds of hope. The residents could no longer hold on to their land, so they held on to that promise. And even to this day, you still remember. You still hold on to that promise. And I want to tell you, we do too, the new generation. This promise is not going to die. It's going to live on. These seeds of promise have sprouted a few times in the past, like he talked about, but were quickly trampled by different ideas of what LBL should be. Every time the seeds of promise begin to sprout, they're burned or cut or cast aside for other ideas, such as extensive logging, commercialization, burning for pre-European landscapes. These sprouts of promise wither in recreational droughts that result in closures of roads, horse trails, campgrounds, silo, Empire Farm. Many of us wonder, where did that promise go? Why wasn't it allowed to grow? Folks, I believe it's still here. All over LBL, the seeds of that promise still live, waiting for a chance to thrive. Beneath years of failed practices, too much commercial logging and burning, closed campgrounds and unrepaired trails, but it's still here. I believe the Forest Service should treat these seeds of promise with the same vigor as they treat those native grasses. If the Forest Service really wants to make LBL everything it can be, it needs to start with those promises. Protect that promise and let it grow. It's never truly been given the chance, just like you said. That's why I believe we need a new plan for this old promise. And I thank you.